Hey everybody, today we've got an '03 Toyota 4Runner limited four-wheel drive. Needs a front wheel bearing. I don't know, can you see the play there? So we got the wheel bearing over here and it looks like it bolts in, but it doesn't come with the hub. So let's get the wheel off and get the brakes off and we'll see how this goes. All right. Got the tire off. Now we got to get the caliper off and the brake rotor off. The brake rotor just slides off, and we're going to have to remove this cap. So on this caliper, this is a non-floating caliper, so the pads move independently inside here. So there's two 17mm bolts here, and if you notice, it's hard plumbed. So on these, I want to get this out of my way. So I go ahead and the ABS bracket, I pop this out, take the 10mm headed bolt out there, take the 12mm headed bolt out there, then this whole bracket will come loose so I don't bend this up. So once I take this out, I'll be able to hang the whole caliper up out of the way. Actually, I might even hang it in this hole on the frame to get everything as far out of my way as possible. So here's the caliper. I have it hanging on the frame out of the way. And yes, that bearing does look correct because it's got this, but it didn't come with the hub. Now we got to pop this cap off. Usually I take the punch and I can punch it straight in and then it'll come out. This one was so tight I just started folding this edge in. So on this one I opted to put the punch this way to knock it out. So I'm going to knock it out that way and we'll get underneath there and see what's going on. Take the cap off. Axle nut, there's the cage and the pin. I already took the cage and pin out. This actually is a 35mm. So I'm going to take this loose, and then probably the next thing we're going to do is I always take and use my slide hammer and try to yank these hubs out while they're on the car instead of using the press. Sometimes they just fall out, sometimes they're a pain in the butt because you can't really get in here to get these bolts out. So that's probably why it didn't come with a hub. So I took the big axle nut off and that's loose now, but I don't have a tool to fit on this to yank it. So we went ahead and took the bolts loose, and now we're going to take the whole hub out and put it in the press to press the hub off the bearing end. All right, we got the hub out. And what we had to do is, since I didn't have a puller to try to pull this hub out of the bearing, we just loosened the bolts up, and as you see, the bolts will not clear to come out. So we just kept unbolting them until they were completely unthreaded, and then actually this just slid out. It wasn't pressed in or nothing, it was just a very tight fit, but we were able just to grab this hub and yank it, and it came out. So now we're going to get it set up in the press to press the hub out of the bearing, and hopefully we'll know which way it goes back together because I'm filming it.
Oh, this is magnetic.
All right, I got it set up in the press now, but I had to notch the plate so the washer would fit underneath because I wasn't grabbing enough here. So once I have that now, I can go ahead and bring the press down. I'll have to raise this plate up, but I had to modify these to get it underneath because my bearing separator plates here were too small. Obviously, there's no grease left in that bearing. Okay, now that we got the hub out of the one bearing stuck on here. So what we're going to do is we've got to cut this off. So I got my pair of dikes. I'm going to cut this shield off. I'll probably take a hammer and smash this bearing to get it off. Then there will be the inner race. The inner race, I'll take my cutoff wheel and get in there and cut a groove in it. Then usually I smack it with a chisel and it splits and then it just slides right off. Alright, did exactly what I said. I cut that one shield off and took a hammer and smacked it and the bearing exploded. We took the tweezer and we cut a groove in it. And now we're going to take this cold chisel and smack it right there as hard as you can. I'm not holding it while you do it. Smack it. And I think it turned. Yeah. So we cracked it, so it's already moving. It's pulling away because we ended up cracking it. Yeah, you can see the crack right there. So now this will just slide on off, and then we can put it back into the new bearing. Now, can you grab it? Usually I can, if you could just right there and tap it. Tap the chisel. Hold on, okay. Tap it. Okay, hold on, it's going. I did nick it, but that's not going to make a bit of difference in the world. Then we put it just back into the press on the socket and pressed it all the way down till it's tight. We already got the bolts back in just like it is, so now it should just go right back together on the car. Hopefully, of course, we'll put some anti-seize on everything so it slides all back together. Alright, so we slid the hub right back on, and we tightened up all 4 bolts. This one, this one, this one, and this one. I can't find the torque specification on these, but these were pretty tight, so I just used my extra long wrenches and tightened it about the same. Now this axle nut is supposed to be torqued to 217 foot-pounds, which I'm going to do. Once I get that torqued, put the nut cage on, and then the Carter key on, then the cap on, then the rotor, then the brake caliper, and then this, and then everything will be done. So everybody, thanks for watching on how to put a hub in a 03 Toyota 4Runner. This one was kind of a pain in the butt because we had to take it apart this way. It really would have been nice if it would have been in one piece and already had the nut bolts in here. You know, why didn't they sell it that way instead of selling it the way they did? I don't know. But anyway, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe and please share. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody.